Hello, my name is Olga. Thank you for stopping by at my channel again. Today I would like to demonstrate a bit of parking method cross-stitching, the way I do it. Some time ago I have already posted a video explaining its method as best as I could, but when I was explaining it then I only showed how I stitch just one cross as a demonstration. And I thought that probably will not be enough to fully understand the idea. So today I will try to demonstrate a bit longer process, explaining how do I go from one row to another, from one square 10 by 10 to another, and so on. As you can see, I'm still working on my beloved Starry Night by Van Gogh. I was hoping to finish it in 2020, but for many of us, as well as for me, this year was quite chaotic, so I did not manage to, unfortunately, but I have only around 6,000 squares on it left, so I hope I will be done till mid of 2021, but we will see. Anyway, this project turned out to be great for demonstration of parking method, so I'm happy I'm still working on it. As you can see, I'm now, probably if you don't know what parking method it is, for now it looks like a complete mess with all the threads sticking out everywhere, but I promise it has logic, and I will try to demonstrate you here in details. Probably I will be stopping the video to stitch some part and then returning back to it, because I don't want to bother people with just me stitching here. So let me demonstrate what I'm working on right now, and then I will go into the logic of how I do it. So as you can see, I have marked the squares 10 by 10 all throughout the canvas, and I have specifically marked the middle of each square. I made a separate video on markings, so I will put the link down below to explain it better, but in essence that's what it is. And as of now I stitch individually each square 10 by 10. Right now I go from top to bottom, so when I go from top square 10 by 10 to bottom, I stitch all the crosses of one individual color in the square above, and then I park my thread of this color where in the first place where it occurs in the square below. So as you can see, here is the square I was referring to, and it has a lot of threads sticking out of it. What can it possibly mean? So each thread is parked in the place from where I will start stitching it. And it's quite easy to determine which thread is that. Though I don't put any markings on the thread itself, the position where the thread is can be checked later on schema, and I will be able to see what thread, what number is it. So for example, if I'm looking at this square, and I'm looking at the thread which is parked here, I always park, or I leave my threads in the bottom left corner of a square. Here is a tiny square, here it is, and in the bottom left there is the thread going out. So I come to the spot, and of course I don't remember what color, what number, what symbol this thread belongs to. But I know the position of the thread. It is this square on this 10 by 10 square. So what can I do? I can just go back to my schema and check what symbol this color belongs to. Let me demonstrate. So please remember, this is the position of the thread. It is parked in the bottom left corner. And now I will bring in my schema. So it is square number 1, 2, 3 from the top, and as you can see, there it is, top left corner of this 10 by 10 square marked with letter N. So this thread, which is parked there, is the thread that is marked with letter N. So now I know that looking at it, I can stitch all the threads marked with letter N all the way down to the bottom of this square, which is perfect because now I don't have to take out my thread every time and thread it back and so on. So once I'm done stitching all letter N's on this square, I will go to the next one, which I will leave till I come to this square again. And as you can see, it also has letter N here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna park it to the very first spot where I see letter N appearing in this bottom square. So it will be this place. So next time I come to this spot, I will know that the thread going out here is the thread marked with letter N. I will just check it with the schema again. So that's what my plan is to do for now. I will start stitching letter N's, and I will show you a bit later how I'm gonna do it. How am I processing all the letters, all the threads of the same color inside one square 10 by 10. So let's go with it. I will stitch a bit and then I will join in again to show my progress and explain further steps. I will see you in a moment. Hello again. So I have stitched some of the threads marked with letter N on the schema, and I wanted to show my progress so far. So first let's check the schema again. Here is the square. So as you can see, this square has quite a lot of letter N in it. So I will be using this thread quite a lot. So far I have stitched row 1, 2, 3, and now I'm on row 4. When I see that there is a lot of color of the same symbol in one square, I don't stitch every square one by one. I stitch them by row. So I start here, go half crosses across the row first, and then return back, finishing the crosses. Then I move to next row, do the same here, next row, again and again, and so on. So this way I think it works a bit better, and the crosses looks a bit neater from my perspective. So I have done 3 rows so far, and I will be continuing till the very end of the row, and then I will demonstrate the parking of the same thread again. So let's see how it looks on the project. So as I have said, this is 1, 2, 3, and now I'm number 4. I have made half crosses all the way to the very last square marked with letter N in this row number 4. So now I will pick my needle again. As I have mentioned already before, I'm only using one needle, so I am rethreading it constantly, but that's okay. I like this method. And also one more thing, if you want to move, if there is some thread of some different color parked on your way, just move it somewhere. You can fix them with needle minders like I do here. They're just holding threads in place, or you can just move them as you go. You don't have to do anything about it. Some people use parking method, and they go parking method not like I do, color by color, but they go row by row and they stitch every color in each row. This is also possible, of course, and I'm not saying that my way is the only correct way. This is just the way I found more suitable and practical for my needs. There is no cardinal rule of parking method except only one, which is you have always to park your threads in the very same spot where you do it. So you should not be parking your threads in all the different spots every time. You have to park it in the same corner of the square every time. So in my case it is bottom left. You can do it in any other way. The only thing you to keep in mind is to keep it exactly the same every time. So I'm almost done finishing this row. I will finish the whole row with letter N off camera, and then I will join in again to show the result, to park the thread below, and to start a new color again. I will see you soon. Hello again. So I'm almost done stitching letter N symbol on in this square. I have only one last one to finish, it is here. And then I will need to park this thread because I still have quite a lot of thread on my needle with a N thread color, and I will demonstrate how am I doing. So I am now ready to finish my very last square with this symbol in this 10 by 10 square, and I need to figure out what I'm gonna do with the thread after that. By the way, if you see those little tiny dots in the middle of the individual squares, this is the way how I fix the thread on the surface once the thread is almost over. Because I don't like turning my project upside down to fix the thread. And if you're interested to see more about this method, there is a video about it and I will put the link. But for now, just keep in mind those little bumps of the threads I have cut off will be covered by threads as I go stitching my project down. So all of this will not be visible because it will be covered by other threads, by the colors of the pattern. So this is just a little disclaimer, so don't pay that much attention to it. It is just my way of doing it. So back to my business. So since I'm almost done stitching this symbol, I will need to see where to park my thread once I'm done with this 10 by 10 square. Let's go back to schema, to pattern again. So this is the square where I am now. I'm using symbol marked with letter N. And if I look down on the square after it, 10 by 10 square, I see that the very first letter N, which is visible here, is in the third square from the left. So once I'm finishing with this very last square, I will just go down and I will park my thread in the bottom left corner of this square. Now, what to do if there is no symbol of this color anywhere on the next square under it, or whatever direction you are going for? It pretty much depends, but if I know that there is no symbol with this color on the next one, on the next square, I check the square after it, if there is it here. If it is not, then I will probably cut off my thread because I don't want to stretch that long or that far away my threads. But if it is here, I can easily skip the whole square 10 by 10 to park it somewhere below. So it all depends on how often the color you use is present in the pattern. If it is just one square here and there, then you don't really need to drag your thread all across the pattern. It doesn't really matter much in my case, but this is how I do it. So again, I'm finishing this square, moving under and park my thread. Let's do it. It is finished. And I'm counting 1, 2, 3. So it's fourth square from the left, 1, 2, 3, and the placement of the thread is bottom left corner, exactly the way I started in the top of the square. So I took it out here and I leave it. So now it is parked, and I will only start using it once I'm done finishing all the colors on this square I'm working on now. So let's see which other color we can use. As you can see, I have taken the thread out since I'm using only one needle, so now I will need to put my needle into the next thread. Let's see what we can do. Since I have several threads parked here, I normally go from the very first, from the top one. So, for example, which one will be closest to me? Let's try with this one with dark blue in the top right corner. So as you have already seen, I'll take my scissors. Those four I have stitched, those are the ones with the letter N. And I need to see in this row, I need to see 1, 2, 3, 4, past 4, and this one. Which color will it be? So I know that this is the very edge of the square, 10 by 10, so it is top right corner. Let's see which thread might that be. Let's go back to our schema. Here is the square. And as you can see, since this black part I have already stitched before, I just don't pay attention to it. It was easier for me to stitch all the black part of the cypress all together. So technically the square ends here, but I have already stitched this number 4, which is black. So I'm in this very corner. And as you can see, this is the thread marked with symbol L, capital L. So the plan is that I will be going as I did before, row by row, stitching all the colors. As you can see, in this case, all the L are pretty much along the vertical line, along the side, except this one, which is a bit sticking off. So I will go this one, this one, this one, this one, then I will jump here, stitch this one, return back, and finish those two. And I will show you once I'm done with this very symbol. I'll see you soon. Hello again. So I have just finished stitching all the threads marked with the symbol L. Those 3, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those 8 stitches. And I did not have a very long end to park, because if I have a very tiny piece of thread left, I don't see point in parking it anywhere. So I fixed it on the surface. Again, there will be a link to the video on how to do that. And just cut it off. So next time, when I will go to my next square, let's see how it's gonna look like. So when I will go to next square, there will be no thread with letter L parked there, but that's okay, because I will see that there is this symbol, but there is no thread in here, so I will just start a new one at this very spot. Okay, and in the meantime we can also see what is our next thread gonna be. So we have stitched the thread that was coming from here, and now there is one coming here. So it is top row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 square. Let's take our schema and we will see what is gonna be. Okay. I have just checked and I realized that in this case I probably made a mistake, and I parked, because if I will see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there is letter M here, but I parked my thread in next square, which in this case, yes, of course, we all are human beings and I also make mistakes like this sometimes, but in this case it doesn't really matter because I know that this is the thread marked with letter M, and I will just move it to the square on the left, and I will start stitching letter M all across this 10 by 10 square. Yeah, sometimes things like this happen to me, and well, good thing I'm using very bright multicolored project, and whether the letter M will be here or next square doesn't really make any difference in this case. So I will start stitching letter M with this thread, and once I'm done with it I will connect to you again and I will demonstrate how it looks. See you soon. Hello again. So I finished stitching the symbol marked with letter M. I have covered pretty much everything I need, and I have parked it where it is supposed to be in next square, which is this place. So next time, once I'm at this square, I will be able to figure out that this is the symbol marked with letter M. And as you can see, I'm almost done with my square. There is only 2 places left. One is here. Let me demonstrate what exactly are we talking about on the pattern, on the schema. So here is the schema, and as you can see, I have stitched pretty much all the symbols here except 3, which is letter U, letter T, and letter S. So the ones that is located highest is the letter U, so this little square left is the one which is marked with letter U, and there is only one cross of this color in this square 10 by 10, so I have to see whether there is one more symbols of this color in the square which I'm gonna stitch next. Let's see. No, there is not a symbol marked with letter U. Let's try the next one, and there are quite a lot of them here. So once I'm done stitching it in the square I work on in now, I will park it in the square below the next one. I will demonstrate you in a second. So let's first stitch the square. I need to first thread my needle. So this one is done. And now let's find the square where I will park it. Again, on the schema. So this one I have just finished. Next one doesn't have any with letter U. And now this is the one I'm gonna work. So the closest to me, the closest to my current position will be this one. So it is exactly on the middle line. Here is the middle line marked, middle dot, and this is middle line then. So it is second row, 6th cross, and I will park it as I always do in the bottom left corner here. So let's do that. So I will have to move the project a bit, zoom out a bit, so we will be able to see the 2 squares under us now. So I'm taking my thread and I skip this one. There is no color of this symbol anywhere here, so I'm not looking at it. So I'm going the next square. This is the middle line, and this is the second row, first, second. So I will park it exactly here. now it is done. So next time I'm here, I will be aware that this is letter U. So as you can see, there are just 3 stitches left of 2 colors, this one and this is a separate color. So I don't want to bore you any longer with my talking, so I will just finish it off camera. But as you can see, we have almost finished the whole square, 10 by 10, which was full of colors. Exactly in this square there are exactly 9 colors in this square, so it was quite full of colors. And as you can see, this was the way I'm stitching my full coverage projects with multiple colors. And I hope my explanation was clear enough for you, and if you have any further questions, please let me know in the comments. I will try to answer them as best as I can. Thank you for being with me, thank you for stitching with me, and I will see you again soon. Goodbye.